Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with another TVZ between our casted uploader in the upper right-hand corner, spawning as our Terran, fosakeNXE, and in the lower left-hand corner, spawning as his pink opponent, Chromatic. Can't really decipher what language this is. Nacht, nicht mehr nur Termin macho. I'm gonna guess this is either Dutch or German or something in between. But anywho, the map that we're on right now is actually Daybreak LE. I'd actually stop and think of how I would say it in English. Yeah, and I don't know. This is just. I kind of wish maybe there was an option to turn, like block the dialogue between both players, because this can be just a little bit distracting. It's always nice to have conversation in StarCraft 2. It really is, but as a caster, it kind of, I don't know. Like the thing is, casters at MLG, casters at IPL, casters at pretty much every place in between, they have a lot less dialogue to deal with typically. But I like this move by fosakeNXE. He does this. He did this in the last replay that I casted of him. He's throwing down a barracks in a rather hidden position, a rather oblique position. I wouldn't say entirely unusual, but it's just not where a Zerg would typically expect to scout. This is very common on the Korean server, so EU, I'm guessing, is not that far behind. Yeah, und. This is definitely German. Sorry. See, that's what I'm talking about, guys. I'm getting distracted. Let me think. Well, as long as we got some macro time to fill in, I'm going to go ahead and just explain what's going on with me lately. Yesterday, I was actually casting StarCraft 2 in Chinese at my university's talent show. Yeah, this was a little absurd. Actually, it wasn't an official university talent show. It was just something that the Chinese department at my university decided to hold. Actually, I don't know, I didn't have to memorize any lines. That was the beautiful thing about it. The only problem I had was that it was basically going to be 5 minutes. And of course we have the Reaper coming out, and that's rather standard. What I did was I took a ZVZ between a Dutch amateur player and, let's see, a Dutch amateur player, and, he was GM, not a bad amateur. And he was playing against EG Idra RC, and basically I casted that. It was a very speedy, very quick cast. I won't give away the results of how it went, but just the way my casting went. A lot of people thought the way that I was talking was kind of funny. Like, I don't know, that's the thing about being a caster. You have to have personality. If I can ever get a hold of the recordings that people made, I will try to upload it to YouTube. Of course, standard harass going down. This is kind of the new meta to get used to. Ooh, and this is actually pretty good. Forsaken was actually able to not only pull a drone off, not only pull drones off the line from his opponent, but also get 1 kill. And see, that is the beautiful thing about the new Reaper. It actually, you have to be able to definitively use it as a skill. Oh my God, that drone! No, alive at the last second. Yes, and there we go. See, that's another thing about saving drones. Like, whenever you throw down a spine crawler and you're forced to cancel it, then basically you force as a Terran, you force your opponent to at least waste 25 minerals. So if we go to the losses right now, it's actually, it's not quite severe for Zerg, but of course, if we account for the delayed mining time and so on and so forth, it actually makes it quite worthwhile for the Terran to actually do it. We do have a total of 8 lings in production for Chromatic, which actually will bring the total out on the map to 12. And he's got 6 more going behind this, so I'm thinking what we're going to see from Chromatic is basically trying to delay his opponent's natural. We do, of course, have a 3rd command center going down relatively early, just as we have Hellions in production, yes. I'm thinking when these lings arrive here, there will be 2 Hellions that are ready to go and another 2 that are about halfway done. So this is actually going to be quite worthwhile for Chromatic, I think. I mean, like, there's no Widow Mines here. The Widow Mines are actually the most severe part of this game. So, like, if Forsaken can actually hold here, he's gonna be in beautiful position. But oh boy, it looks like he's gonna be forced to lose something eventually. But there we go. Gets the surround on the orbital command. He's gonna force it to lift up. And wait, is he? Is he? Is he? He's actually just clicking it down. So he's actually gonna force it to. Oh! It's actually gonna burn down. Is it gonna burn down? Is it going to burn down? It looks like the Lings. Oh my god! I don't know what to make of this. It's just so close. Okay, an SCV gets pulled at the last second to repair it. Oh my god, that was so close. Forsaken. Wow. Sick Terran. You know, ballsy Terran at that. But I mean, come on, hold on. Let's see it. Let's see what we lost in that. Okay, so Forsaken. He actually didn't lose any workers from that. I mean, of course, it delayed mining time. Mules are so valuable to Terran. He did lose a good deal of mining time on his mules, which means, like, I want to say he lost maybe 60 to 90 minerals over the course of a minute per mule, which brings it to about 180. And it looks like we have Forsaken actually pushing back for some punishment right now. He's going to see if Zerg took his third, which he did. And if we check this, like, 75 seconds ago, that was roughly 7 minutes 15 seconds when this hatch went down. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. See, the surround here. It's not gonna do. It's really not gonna do Chromatic too much good. So we actually see him in a bit more of a severe position than his Terran terrorist. You know, I'm thinking it's possible that he could actually lose that third. He doesn't have what it takes to stop this pressure right now. If he had some Lings waiting here in the mineral line already, it would have been a different story. He would have forced his opponent to basically kite. But here we go. A couple of queens getting pulled. Actually, all queens being pulled. And the Ling's trying to get us around, but I don't think it's quite going to work out. And none of these queens actually have enough energy for a transfuse just yet, so we're actually seeing him in a bit of a severe position. There we go. Third hatch is actually, you know, it's in red HP. That's actually pretty good. I think if we saw Forsaken do some excellent drop harass later on, he would actually be able to take it down with just a Marine and Marauder and Medevac drop. Now, my curiosity is this going to end up the same way that we saw the last game? Like, is he going to go for a bio follow-up? There we go. Yes, it is. It looks like it is. Okay, 4 more barracks going down. You know, that's the thing I love about StarCraft. You can see a player's personality in a replay. Not necessarily the dialogue per se, but you know, I mean, there was a lot of it going down earlier, and I tried my best to ignore it, but you know, it's all in a bunch of funny talk that I don't understand. And with that, we actually see Chromatic actually sending out a changeling and getting a good read on what Forsaken actually has right now. But the one thing we have to see right now is a game of drones coming from Chromatic if he actually wants to come back and win this. If you guys like what you see here, just, I guess, kind of follow my twitch.tv channel. I'm going to type it out right here. That would be twitch.tv/ESL Taiwan. This one I actually use to cast tournaments. I will be casting the Asia StarCraft League, so you guys in Europe will be able to watch it at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, more or less. It'll be 6 a.m. in the US. I'm getting paid to cast that one. And it's basically it's one of the larger name tournaments in Taiwan. There we go. Teams that are worth mentioning that will be in this tournament, the Prime team, of course. We're talking like Boom Boom Prime. Well, no, Boom Boom Prime. Wow, that was last season. He was in last season's ASL, but because he's no longer a member of the Prime team, he won't be there. By the way, we do have a rather standard Mutalisk follow-up. We will have the Prime team, which means like Marine King Prime, Maru Prime as well. And basically anyone else who's on the Prime team at the time. We will, of course, have Gamma Bears. That includes Sen, Jojo, Yo-Yo. Excuse me, no. Gamania Jojo? No, that's Yo, I am Jojo. Excuse me. We'll have Gamania Yo-Yo, of course. Trying to think who else. There's going to be a ton of amateur players from mainland China. I have actually seen mainland Chinese players that are at an amateur level come out and beat some members of the Prime team. Yes, and that reminds me, Classic Prime actually played against a player named Phoenix Courage, and Phoenix Courage actually managed to beat Classic Prime. It was a ZVP matchup back in the Wings of Liberty days. Of course, that was when everybody had figured out the meta. But here we go. It looks like we got this Marine pressure moving into the main, excuse me, the natural of Chromatic, and a lift up by the Medivacs, pulling them out just in time, hitting the Ignite Afterburners, and more Marines here waiting to intercept these Mutas. This is absolutely beautiful play by Forsaken. You know, let's focus on this game instead of the easiest StarCraft League. All right. Beautiful surround. Of course, the Marines, the Marauders. Ooh, most of those Banelings disconnected with the Marauders. And this, you know, we actually see Forsaken. He's in a not so good position right now. It's actually looking increasingly severe. Oh my god. Here we go. Alright, so the supply depots went up, and the bunker is in the right position right now. Well, the bunker's in okay position right now, figuratively speaking. And this bunker looks like it's going to be able to hold. Alright, and the Banelings are actually going to connect with that bunker. Is it going to go down? Yes, it will. So we actually see Chromatic actually taking advantage of his opportunity to harass, but the Banelings are no longer there to actually deal with the Marines. So we actually see Chromatic in a pretty okay position. Or, excuse me, Forsaken in a pretty okay position. Chromatic is actually, you know, a bit higher on the supply count, but most of that is tied up in drones. Check this shit out. Yes, right here. That is the worker count right now, presently. Forsaken at 75, Chromatic at 80, and if we check the army supply right now, both players are relatively even, so, yeah. Okay. And now this is just an excellent contain, I guess you could say, by Forsaken. He's not going to be able to pick up these Marines and get them out. No, there's just too many Mutalisks there to deal with what he's got. But of course, I mean, just look at what Forsaken has done. He's actually prevented creep spread from getting much further beyond the entrance to the natural. This is actually very good play by Forsaken. He's not so much containing his opponent, but definitely restraining his vision. But what we have from Chromatic here is basically Lings dotting the map, and the position that we see the Medivac going into right now, we actually didn't have that Zergling spotted, so wow. This is absurdly good play by fosakeNXE. He's got excellent macro. He's got +3/+3 on the way right now. Zerg just now getting +2, and he's only now upgrading to Hive Tech. It looks like there was a drop in the main that just got cleaned up. The drop at the 4th base is a different story. This is not the quite so ideal 4th base. Both of them have their, excuse me, both of these 4th bases have their advantages. By the way, 5 workers were killed there. This one right here is rather wide open and exposed. It's easy to get tanks in there. Easier to get tanks there than it is at the 4th. And these Widow Mines, oh my god, they are going to create a... Wow. I thought they were going to create the most epic Ling massacre I would ever see, but no. They only killed handfuls, the forward ones, but the back ones are a different story. There we go, and it looks like we actually see some of these Marines being thrown away to deal with the Banelings, and this is just absolutely excellent microplay. Oh my god, the Mutalisk ball was just taken down for Chromatic. He's not going to be able to quite be able to intercept drop play the way he was before, but look at the losses right now. If we were just to subtract 1,200 gas, 1,200 minerals right now, we'd see at both players at even losses. This is absolutely, I want to say, is one of the more critical parts of the game. But here we go. You know, Forsaken, he's just kind of taking his time to move in there. Ooh, and he lost a good chunk of Marines there. Only manages to get a single medevac full of them out. And finally, we see Chromatic adding on his 5th base. But we're going to have to see fosakeNXE go ahead and throw down his 4th. He's actually doing that right now. You know, that's actually the perfect timing. Kind of. As a Terran player, you never want to let your Zerg opponent get more bases than you. But of course, as a Zerg player, your goal is to always have more bases than your Protoss or Terran opponent. Here we go. Marine splits pretty okay here, but there's no Widow Mines right here to reinforce these Marines. The only problem I see right now is that there's an absolutely humongous window of opportunity for Chromatic to move in and attack. The only thing that's really thwarting him right now is he doesn't know how few Widow Mines there are right now. So the biggest mistake we're actually seeing here from Chromatic is just not having the detection available to deal with these Widow Mines. And in the main, we actually have some mutas going in. It looks like they're going to try and get a few kills on the mineral line. This could end up working out. Missile turret falls. He's going to deal with the Marines that are in the main. And right now, I want to say there's kind of an okay window of opportunity for Chromatic to come in at the south end and attack the 4th from that direction. The Natural's actually going dry before the main. That's rather unusual. So you actually see fosakeN in a bit of a critical position. If he does not, if he loses this 4th base, it's basically over for him. Look at the time mark that we're at now, guys. It's 20 minutes. That's when, oh my god, that's usually when a huge chunk of mutas dies. And there's just not enough banelings here for Chromatic to really aptly deal with these these Marines. fosakeN's just powering through this. It looks like he could end up getting a kill on the 4th. Ooh, beautiful Widow Mine connection, but of course, no, the Ultralisk just come back in time to deal with that. Here we go. Chromatic basically losing like every single chunk of mutas there again. We really need to see him get some detection out to aptly deal with these Widow Mines. Of course, this thing is just being absolutely oversaturated with mules. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, because we actually see, if we check the income right now, it's actually working to the advantage of fosakeN. I think the only flaw we see with this play right now is that he has a lot of Marines, and if his opponent could open his eyes and just think, oh, it's a lot of Marines, well, I just need a lot of banelings to counter that, not mutas. And I think fungal growths, you know, just there's so much AoE here for Zerg if we could get fungal growths, banelings, ultralisks, fungal growths, you know, it would just be absurdly good for Zerg if he could open his eyes. And we do have a medevac drop here that basically failed, only took down a single spine crawler, it looks like. And the engagement here, you know, oh my god. That Widow Mine look just worked a teeny bit against the Marines there. Yes, as you can see, at the same time we saw a Sentinel missile explode, it did kill a single Marine. So Widow Mines can work against them, and now we actually have fosakeN. His Marines actually getting fully surrounded here. There's a lot of Widow Mines that just had their Sentinel missiles get basically kited, if you will. They basically shot themselves off. They didn't kill anything, and you know, it's just absolutely excellent defense here by fosakeN. But it looks like we actually have Chromatic in a bit of a critical position. He could, oh my god, he could have gotten a ton of worker kills there, but he just didn't have enough mutas. So nothing really, not really a mistake per se, but wow, wait. This Ling is on hold position. If it was freely attacking these SCVs, then it would be, you know, I think in a much better position. More SCVs getting pulled. Oh my god, the great train of SCVs. Ultra is back over here. I don't know. There's just so much more that we can see our Zerg player to do to make this better for him. Of course, I am not the Masters level EU Zerg player. Masters level on EU's, I think, relatively better than Masters League on North America. But if you want to compare, North America, I guess, is the standard, as one could say. Here we go. It looks like the Marines and Marauders just stem up and move into that. One Baneling makes a good connection. Now there's a bunch of yellow health Marauders and Marines. A huge chunk of Widow Mines right here as well. And I want to say with that, we saw a huge chunk of Chromatic's forces just get taken down. Ooh. And the mutas just got nom down. And it looks like we had a huge Ling run by down here by Chromatic, actually killing 24 workers altogether. So if we check that out, brings the worker count down a little bit more. And here we have a double medevac drop going. A bunch of red Marines and Marauders basically getting thwarted by a single Ultralisk, a hero Lisk, if you will. I don't know. So far, I want to say, you know, Chromatic, he's got it. He's just not quite figured out what his opponent is doing. He's actually, his goal is to remax on Marines ASAP, and he's got to find a way to actually deal with this aptly. He needs infestors to beat what he's going up against. See, even fosakeN knows that Chromatic is basically doing a bunch of static, you know, just like, I don't want to say static, but it's basically a bunch of static reflexes with what we see here. He's remaxing on mutas. Mutas are not the most effective tool in the shed versus Marines. We need fungal growths and excellent infestor control to actually beat this, and with that we see fosakeN actually moving up here. It looks like he's going to try and take a swing at the 4th base again. It doesn't quite pan out. Thor's back here just, you know, sitting comfortably, getting ready to kill any mutas that may come his way, and the there's just a couple of ultras here left to defend. We see that, you know, basically Chromatic's trying his best to defend, but it's just not quite going to pan out for him. It looks like the Thor will eventually fall. It's basically acting as a mini tank, if you will. And with that, we see the Marines in an okay position. They took down a Thor before we ended up sending a bunch of letters home to their families. Poor guys, yes, yes, yes. I don't know. I wonder how many human rights activists would be looking at this and thinking, "Oh my God, how many Marines fall in a single game? This is not right. This is so much human death that's happening. We need to get rid of this." Oh well. Widowmine gets activated on an Overseer, and it looks like the Marines are actually intent on kind of chasing it down, targeting it down. Not the worst of ideas. And that's actually rather a huge chunk of Marines that's left right there. And as said before, mutas are not the most effective tool in the shed, but when they're +3, they can be, you know. We have +1 Carapace now in research for Zerg, but I mean that's Flyer Carapace, of course. Now we have a lot more Lings on the way as well. Something I want to highlight. Why are these Vipers? Oh, Blinding Cloud. Yes, how could I forget? There it is. Blinding Cloud goes down on the Marine. Oh wait, it looks like I got the Ultras too. Alright, so there we go. Trying to do what damages whenever they can. fosakeN's basically making his Marines kite, max, max, max. And wow, this is actually an interesting SimCity right here. Beautiful, actually. Like, I don't know, I can like that. I really like that. That's actually, I've never seen that before, I think. Another drop going down here at the upper left, and with that, it will fall. Yes, I almost missed that, guys. I'm sorry. And with that, we see the bio ball taking down all of the mutas that were in that position. A bunch of red and yellow health Marines right now. You can see where the small mistakes are adding up and really basically decimating Chromatic's play. When you know your opponent is going to go for this much Marine play, you should always accompany it with Infestors. See, look at this. This is just stupid how all these Marines are falling to all these Lings and Banelings. Just imagine if they could not move and they were taking damage at the same time. It would only take one Baneling per Marine, or per group of Marines to actually kill them. So here we go. Banelings morphing. Finally, we have Infestors coming into play. The only question is, will we see Chromatic hold on long enough to actually do the damage it needs to actually turn this game around? It looks like maybe not. 101 supply to 176. You know, this is getting increasingly critical right now, and I think the biggest problem with that would be the income at the upper left-hand base. It's non-existent. It's all distance mining. Alright, there we go. And it looks like with that, we're going to see the 4th base fall for Chromatic. But luckily, just as that falls, the 5th base finishes up. And with that, we see Ignite Afterburners being hit and lit. And what's going to happen here? Looks like all of the medevacs are going to go back home. Yes, yes, yes. They're not going to overcommit to anything, especially given the Ling run by that just took place at the lower right-hand corner. Yes, the great SCV massacre of Daybreak. With that, we see Chromatic pulling back his Lings. Not a desperate move, but I would say definitely an appropriate move altogether. This game, you know, he's actually killed 35 workers. The only problem I see from fosakeNXE is that he's not really using Marine Marauder medevac to its best. Yes, he did try some medevac drop play earlier, but of course the one thing that he could do to improve his play is definitely send nothing but a bunch of medevacs to drop and harass towards the late game. But hold on. Oh no. Is this 4th base going to fall? No, but a couple of beautiful fungal growths do fall on these Marines. It looks like, I want to say there's a bunch of red and yellow health, and yeah, even some orange health ones, guys, in those medevacs, but these medevacs are all empty. They need to be brought home. And I mean, just think about it, guys. I mean, if you've got 1, 2, 3 medevac drops going down at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're targeting minerals or not. I mean, in the main, you could throw down a bunch of Marines and like just maybe 1 or 2 medevacs, and you could actually kill the critical tech structures while simultaneously damaging the economy of your opponent. You have to be able to analyze which base is making mineral income. The Zerglings are actually waiting for the Banelings to finish up, and now we have nothing but, you know, Ling, Baneling, Infestor. At this stage in the game, we need Ultralisks to accompany them, otherwise this game is going to be over in a heartbeat. There were some Infestors that just finished, but they are not here. No, not at all. with that, we're actually going to see a huge drone massacre. Look at the numbers. Oh my god, 31. It's just, it's hideous. And with that, we see another Ling run by at the lower right, but it's just not enough. We still have one mining base going for Forsaken, and that's what all of his Marines are coming from. Infestors with just fungal growths are not the best thing to go up against straight up Marines. Beautiful fungal growth. Again, stacking, yes, beautiful, but at the same time, it's just not enough with the amount of mineral income that we have at this stage of the game, you know? Actually, Forsaken, he's actually in a pretty okay position right now. The only problem is he's going to have mules in the near future to actually, you know, get his income back up and, you know, basically effectively help him remax on Marines. And speaking of, he's forgotten about this small Marine Marauder force at what appears to be the 6 o'clock position base. I would say, like, right now would be more than just an appropriate time to actually pull a planetary, excuse me, not a planetary, but an orbital command from one of its positions and then place it in a more optimally mining position. But here we go. It looks like the fourth base is actually under attack. Again, it will fall inevitably. And Chromatic only has 65 supply, and how much of that is actually army supply? Almost nothing. 26 supply is actually army supply. And that's all tied up, I think I want to say, in mostly infestors. Yes, and with that we actually see, oh boy, the fifth base was forced to cancel, and I think there's just basically no way for Chromatic to come back here. No, his opponent's already remaxed. Look at this. You know, I don't know what to say. Yes, he had infestors. Yes, he had lings. Yes, he had banelings. But at the same time, he needed those infestors much, much sooner in the game. And he needed, like, when he was on the Muta stage, he actually should have managed his Mutalisks much, much better than he did. It looks like, you know, this almost empty mining base is forced to pull the drones to try and kill what we have from Forsaken. Oh boy, Spore Crawlers taking down the medevacs as they can. This is just one of those tooth and nail games, if you will. And there's just no way we're going to see Chromatic hold here. 15 supply versus 198, 199. Waiting to get back up to 200. There it is. The Infestors. It says, Widow Mines sind halt lächerlich. But I don't know what I just said in German, but you know, he said it with one of these, so there we go. Anywho, this has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time. If you would so kindly just go ahead and click on the subscribe button to my channel on YouTube, and also just go ahead and follow me again at twitch.tv/ESL Taiwan. That would be my streaming channel. I work with ESL, the guys who do IEM and so on and so forth. But if you want my personal Twitch channel, it does not have partnership. Sometimes you'll catch me playing StarCraft, sometimes you'll catch me playing League. It depends on my mood, really. This is it. So yeah, twitch.tv/Enders116. I'll see you guys next time.